What's up, world? Ollie Red is back in the building with another episode of the All Things House Music Podcast. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that has been showing love and showing support for the podcast. On this podcast episode, we have Jack. Jack is a UK producer slash DJ, and we discuss topics such as the importance of having organic relationships in the house music scene. We talk about the importance of having a mentor throughout your journey. And we also talk about the importance of believing in yourself and believing in your journey. Once again, thank you for everybody that's showing support. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Let's start the show. Jack, bro, what's up, man? How you doing today?
What's up, bro? Yeah, I'm good, man. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm
How's
doing
things
good, man.
over
I'm
there?
doing good. Man, thanks for coming on the podcast today, man. I know it's early my time, but it's like midday your time, so it's
Yeah,
all good,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you sorted me out, bro. You sorted me out, so it's all good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yo, no, I'm no worries about that. No worries about that. So, man, let's get this ball rolling. Okay. So, in the beginning of the podcast, we like to kind of introduce our followers, our fans, our viewers to our guests. Can you give a little background about your kind of musical upbringings, and not necessarily like the house music and dance music and all that stuff. Just like any beginning influences, like band, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, to be fair, mate, like thinking back all those years ago, bro, when I was a youngster, man. I've always been like listening to beats ever since I was like fucking sorry, can I swear on this
Yeah,
podcast?
you can curse.
Yeah, because I do swear quite a bit sometimes.
It's all good, bro.
But yeah, bro, like literally, I remember buying my first CD. I think it was like 50 Cent, the Get Rich or Die Trying
Yeah,
CD.
yeah. Mhm.
I think that was like my first ever CD when I was about 10 years old. So I used to blast that in my bedroom and stuff. And yeah, man, I've always been into a mix of tunes, like ever since like being at school. Used to listen to loads of different tunes. We used to trade songs on the school bus between our friends. And yeah, man, I used to listen to a lot of music, like before playing sports at school. Like how athletes, they listen to tunes to get them in the zone and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, we used to listen to a lot of like hip hop, R&B, grime, like stuff like that, man. That was quite heavily influenced
Mhm.
when I was at school, man. So yeah, and I think I always used to listen to loads of different stuff, and then I think my earliest memories of actual, like, underground house music, kind of the similar stuff that we're doing now. My cousin took me to um, this club in Birmingham, which is, where near where I live.
Okay.
Uh, it was a venue called the Rainbow Venues, and I think anybody that listens to this from the UK will know exactly what club it is. You might have heard of it as well, man. It was pretty big back in the day. And my cousin took me there quite, I think I was about 19.
Okay.
So I was quite late into like actually going to house music raves in terms of like a lot of kids now were going at like, 17, 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because before that I was kind of going to, like random festivals, soon because it's 21 there, isn't it, to drink?
Yeah, 21.
Yeah, yeah. So like as soon as we all turn 18 here, it's like, we're going out as much
It's
as we
game on,
can.
huh?
Game on, bro. So yeah, we used to go to a lot of festivals. So a lot of it was like, EDM stuff
Yeah.
over here as well. So I used to go to like Electric Daisy Carnival. They've still got that over there
Yeah.
where you are, bro. And yeah, man, I used to do that before I used to go to the house raves. Because like I said, I like any music, like really, but if it's a
Yeah,
good tune, it's a good tune.
for
But
sure.
yeah, in terms of house music, it was that Rainbow Venues, bro. And funnily enough, it was like watching the likes of like Chris Lorenzo, Had a Once, Low Steppa, Shadow Childs, all
Mhm.
like the proper like deep, the old school deep garage stuff, kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
similar to what we're doing as well. So
Mhm.
it's kind of all kind of come back round in it.
For sure.
Yeah, man, that was like the first memories, bro. Going there and yeah, getting drunk.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
I
it's good.
so I know you mentioned the age difference of, here in the States being 21 and over there by you it's 18. how do you how do you see, because that's it's obviously it's only like a couple years difference, but how do you see that being like a difference, like the difference of age going out, like how does that kind of form your musical tastes?
Do you know what? I don't really know. I think it all depends on like, the circles of people you're hanging around with and what they're listening to
Yeah.
and I feel like out of my friend group, I was probably one of the first to like go to the house music raves.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking all my like friend group to like the underground clubs with the house music and stuff like that. Before that it was a lot of, just like hitting the bars,
Yeah.
getting drunk with the boys and what have you. So yeah, that was kind of the progression, to be fair. So
Yeah.
the first couple of years was drinking in pubs, and then we started going to the raves. So
Yeah. What years were this? Like 15, 14?
oh yeah, I turned 18 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, 2012, man. So started going to the raves about 2014, I'd
Okay.
say.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's
So
when it all kicked off.
big DJs like around the right time. Obviously, you mentioned like Low Steppa. You mentioned Hannah Wants. Jamie Jones was doing this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Do
Yo, man, yeah,
do
it
you,
was
do you
big.
remember seeing like these artists out, and kind of how did they like inspire you to step into the DJing world?
Yeah, I can't really remember like a specific moment or feeling or time on the dance floor or anything. It was like for me, it was a slow progression. It was just like I really enjoyed the feeling of going to these raves and, like meeting up. I think it was meeting the people and everyone was quite like minded because, when you're at school, there's like pockets of different types of groups, and you're trying to figure out where you fit in and who your type of people are.
Mhm.
And when I was at the raves, I really connected with a lot of people and the music I loved, and yeah, it felt right, it
Yeah.
felt right. So yeah, I feel like that was kind of it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you still cool with some of those people that you used to go out with?
Yeah, man, I still see a few of them. A lot of them have grown up now. Had kids
Kids
and
and family.
families, careers. I'm still like the 18-year-old boy. Going out. I don't know if you feel the same. I don't know, but you pick up and you lose friends along the way, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's all about the process, isn't it?
Hmm. Hmm. Now stepping forward, you said there was like a slow progression into getting into like the more of the DJing. What first did you start DJing first, or did you start production first?
I was straight into DJing, bro. I
DJing.
remember,
Okay.
yeah, um, the music production didn't really cross my mind for a few years after I started like DJing and stuff, and you start to like, yourself, you probably start to learn more about the scene and, how serious you wanna take it and, what kind of path you wanna go on. So, yeah, I started DJing in my bedroom like everyone else does. I think me and my friend bought a pair of decks, we shared it, so we, like, split the cost down the middle.
Yeah.
So we shared it. We lived down the road from each other, so he taught me how to DJ because he did it at college or
Okay.
university. And then, yeah, I think I was about 20, 21. Is
Okay.
is probably is probably about a year or 2 after starting going to, like, these house music raves, so,
Hmm.
yeah,
What
that's how it all started.
was there a moment that you decided that like this is kind of what I want to do, or at first it was more like a hobby type of deal?
Yeah, it was more like a hobby, like,
Hmm.
obviously, we saw all these, like, DJs, playing records and, making it sound cool and giving you all these amazing feelings and moments in the parties, and I thought, like, it'd just be cool for us to be able to do it, say if we're at a house party or, it's kinda similar. I think, like, I've heard a few people talk on podcasts before, and it's like it's very similar kinda story. It's like you kinda just doing it with your mates,
Yeah.
and then you start to meet people at the parties and along the way, and it's like it's just for me, it was just a slow progression getting into it, to be fair. So, it was never a moment going, "This is what I wanna do." It was just like a natural thing of enjoying myself, from
Yeah.
going out, partying. And I was like, yeah, you really start to see and things start to open up and opportunities. And, I kind of just followed what felt right to me. So
Yeah, totally understand. Totally understand. So from, doing the house parties with your friends, what was the next step? Was it straight in the clubs, or was it like some period of time where it was just like, kind of cutting your teeth and
Yeah.
exploring the scene and meeting people? How did that go?
Yeah, I think it was like going out to yeah, going out to the same parties pretty much every weekend, meeting people. We were DJing in the bedroom, like we'd get to know like some of the promoters in the club, or like you'd meet somebody who was friends of the DJ, or like, and then you talk to them, and then you talk to the DJ, and then I think it was just like a progression of like, showing your face, being present at these parties, and then um, funnily enough, from like watching, like Low Steppa, like we're really good friends now. Like I remember watching him back in the day, and then funnily enough, my mate introduced me to him, and then we hit it off. We became really good friends, and he was like, why don't you try it? Because at that moment in time, like he was blowing up after like a couple of his like really well known tunes, and it's like, "Yo, bro, why don't you just fucking give it a go?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, why not?" I've met quite a few people and done a lot of networking at that point. Obviously, meeting him and meeting everybody else through all these different parties. So I remember getting like my first set, and it was like, I don't think I even got paid for it. I just did it empty club. At the start of the night. That's how it started, man. And then I just gradually, yeah, built my name up a little bit and got to know people. So yeah, it was a slow burner, bro. It was a slow burner, but you kind of have to like go through those steps to like really appreciate, the journey. So
For sure, man. Yeah, that's what we has been a topic on these last couple of podcasts that I've done. That it's the ones that kind of just blow up and then kind of like like fizzle out down the line,
yeah,
or
yeah, for
or is the
sure.
ones that kind of they start by those empty clubs, or even before that they start in the bedroom, and then they started at the bars or the pubs, and then they go to like a club with their opening act and nobody's in there, and then kind of just progressively kind of step up from there.
Yeah, yeah, that's it, man. I really do think. I think that is the more sustainable way for it to happen, and the more organic for people as well, because you gotta learn your craft, you gotta learn your trade. Like, I remember some of the tunes that I was playing at the start of the night, there was no way I'd play them if I was warming up now, because I kinda had no clue. Like, I wasn't hammering it out, like, too fast or anything, but
Yeah, yeah.
maybe tunes weren't the right selection, or yeah, you gotta go through these motions, and you gotta learn through the process. So, yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, for sure, bro, for sure. I just saw you did uh a party for Moxy at, what's that, 93 feet?
Yeah, yeah, that was Sunday just finished,
Just
yeah,
passed, right?
so, yeah.
I know that you mentioned like you're friends with like Low Step and all that stuff. How did that relationship kind of form? Cause it seemed like he's like a big influence. Like that was one of my questions, obviously. Who was
Yeah.
one of kind of the influencers that kind of made you like step into the game. You mentioned him. How did that relationship form?
Yeah, it was a random one, really. I'm just trying to think now, it was, funnily enough, it was the guy, my friend, who we bought the decks together. He went to a festival, in Amsterdam, and he went to, I can't remember what festival it was, and I think Low Steppa was playing one of the tents, and at this point, we'd already seen him quite a few times in our home city. We obviously knew who he was, and my mate went to watch him, and then my mate bumped into him at the festival, obviously after his set or whatever. And he told him, "Yeah, we're from the same area, etc., etc. We watch you all the time in Birmingham." And then I think my mate kind of started. My mate was a personal trainer at the time, so my mate started, linking him, going to the gym with him together, because obviously we're from the same area pretty much. And I think one time he was like, my mate was like, "Oh, do you want to come to a V festival in England?" It's not even a thing anymore, but it was quite a big festival, you know, probably 5, 10 years ago. So I was like, "Yeah, let's go." Buzzing, you know, I'm getting to go with one of the, you know, the big DJs at the time. So yeah, I jumped in the car with them. And then that was the first time I properly met him, and then, you know, we just kinda hit it off from there, you know, became good friends, and it was just a natural thing really, you know, like, nothing was forced, it was just like, you know, a natural thing, so yeah, it was that's pretty much how it started, man. It was just knowing the right person at the right time, you know, meeting the right person, so yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, word. That's dope, man. That's dope. A lot of relationships, those ones that are formed organically, those are like the ones where it's not like like what can you do for me? It's like a
Yeah.
generally friendship, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't transactional 'cause at
Exactly.
that time, well, I wasn't even thinking about being a DJ, like, I love
Yeah.
the music. And I was doing it in my bedroom, and it was just like, you know, I met someone that, you know, that's doing it as a career and stuff, and it was, you know, it was yeah, it was nice, man, it was natural, it was like, I haven't got a motive. He has no clue who I am, I'm just, you know, a young lad loving the music, loving his music, so it was, you know, it was just a natural thing, so it was good.
Yeah, word. Good, good, good. Can you explain the importance of because he almost seemed like I was a friend and like type of like a mentor, right?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
explain the importance of when you start something new, having a mentor?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like so like somebody that can show you like the ropes and like kind of the do's and the don'ts of
Oh,
somebody can
yeah.
kind of like walk you through the path that they obviously done and then you're on the way too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like they've walked 1,000 miles
Yeah.
before you've already walked one, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
they can like help you navigate certain situations and, you know, certain places, certain ways to do things, you know. And I think it does help, man. It really does steer you in a probably a quicker trajectory, you know, in terms of like making less mistakes, you know. You can kinda cut out the mistakes you would have made if you didn't have somebody telling you, you know, "Do this or don't do this," you know?
Yep.
And I think it's nice to hear it from somebody that's already got the success as well, because you know, you can listen to 1,000 of your mates telling you to do this or your family, and it's like, you know, sometimes you've either gotta listen to somebody that's already walked those steps or somebody yeah, somebody like that is just, yeah, super important to have around, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
For sure,
it
for
was
sure.
good.
So we first met, or let me say when the first time I heard of you. I was playing a party here in San Diego, and I think this had to be like 2023. When did your track I think it's called Phone Box, when that come out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, phone box, yeah, that was a couple of years ago, yeah,
Could be
for
it.
sure.
So that's when I first heard of you. I didn't obviously I just knew the name. So I played it a couple times and then I opened up for George Middles. And
Okay, yeah,
then
yeah.
a couple weeks later, 'cause at the time I was doing like arts liaison work too. And that's when I met Chris and Darius and talking and then because that song came out on Moxy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm one
So
of the yeah.
huh?
I'm one of the VAs,
The
like the
VAs, yeah,
co
yeah, yep, yep,
yeah,
yep,
yeah, yeah,
yep.
yeah.
And then, we did this party. We talked about doing this party, this boat party in Miami. And then he was like, "Yeah, I had this guy. He released on my label. His name is Jack." And turned out obviously it was you, obviously, right? Then we met and played a after party for Moxie in Miami for Miami Music Week last year.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
fun time. I gotta drop that set too, like eventually. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, so that
you recorded it, right?
yeah, I recorded it, yeah, so we gotta put gotta put that out. Yeah, so that's kinda like how we met. Can you give the journey of, starting, you know, as a like a bedroom DJ to getting booked, basically all through, like, the UK and Europe, and then, can you explain that journey?
Oh, how do I condense that journey? I think once you start, you know, playing, you wouldn't start getting booked for like, you know, like these the smaller parties around your own city. And I think you start doing that, you start taking it more seriously, people start to see your name. I think as well the social media was a big part of it as well, man. I was always posting stuff on there, trying to be active, because obviously everybody knows how important that stuff is now as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when Instagram was really kicking off, where it was like 2017, 18, Instagram was like the main platform then. So it was kind of a good timing for that. So I built some decent followers on there at the time. And then, I think it was probably about 2, 3 years into, DJing in like clubs um around my area or maybe around the country. And then yeah, I started getting into production as well. So I was like, I don't want to just be a local DJ for the rest of my life. I really want to take this seriously now. So I was like, I'm gonna get into the production and then just like get my head down into that. And that took a while, it really did. Because well, I didn't have any mentors. No one helped me to produce. I literally taught myself because I was like, had the opportunity to take, or have people make tunes for me. And I thought, at the end of the day, I'm in it for the long run. I want to do it as a career. I want to take it seriously. I want to own my craft as well. So I was like, I just put my head down in the studio for a good 3, 4 year. I think it was about 3 years since released my first track. So I don't know if that's the same with you or like it took a while.
Yeah, it took a I didn't start producing until probably 7 or 8 years into, like, DJing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. See, that's what I mean. It's
yeah,
it's a, it's a process, right? It's a process. So yeah, I think it was about. Let me just think now. It was about 3 years after I started DJing in clubs that I started making tunes, and then yeah, and then it was 6, 7 years into my music career until I released my first tune. So
yeah,
it was like, I'm coming up. Yeah, I'm probably coming up 8 years into my full music career now. So
yeah.
yeah, I've been releasing music for 2 years now.
2
So
years, yeah, yeah. 2 years?
yeah, yeah, 2 years,
Damn,
bro.
bro. That
Yeah,
that that's tight, man. Your production is definitely top tier for sure, man. You're like I
thank
said,
you, bro.
you're on, Moxy, you're on, you have a new vinyl release now on Mark Control's,
Oh yeah,
label right now, right?
plastic people. Yeah,
Class People,
plastic
yep,
people.
yep.
Yeah, like I said, bro. Like it was. I was like, this is probably the most efficient way of growing myself as an artist rather than just DJing. Like I don't take it away from anyone. If you want to just be a DJ, you could be a massive DJ. Like look at like Marco Corona or somebody. He's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
released one track in his whole life. You know what I mean? But he's one of the biggest DJs. So
yeah,
everyone's different. Everyone's different. But I feel like if you really want to express yourself as an artist and put your stamp on things, I think making tunes is the right way to go about it. So
yeah. Do you think there is a direct correlation with DJing and then, getting booked for, gigs and making music? Or do you
um,
think realistically on these days you can just focus on DJing?
ooh, it's a good question. I'd definitely say after I've been releasing good quality music that I've been noticed by more, how do I say this? More like representable brands or labels or like bigger artists. They're
Mhm.
like, they're more willing to take you seriously
Yeah.
rather than if you're just DJing, you got something to offer, I think.
Mhm.
Especially if you're keeping it original as well and you're staying true to, following these trends, you kind of stick into, you kind of make your own vibe in a sense, don't you?
Yeah, for sure.
So you kind of have your own sound and stuff like that. And yeah, I always thought, when I started making tunes, I was like, oh, I just love so many different types of house music, like tech house or garage or deep house. I was like, I'm sure I'm never going to have a sound.
Yeah.
But then on it's that as soon as you start to release the tracks, you kind of build a sound. It's a weird thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What year what obviously you said, 2 years actually with, like, releasing the music, but what year did you feel confident in, like, your sound?
I think it was after when I dropped my first proper tune, it was that old school 96 because I felt like it crossed over like a garagey, deeper sound that I really love to listen to and love to play as well.
Yeah, that sounds
No,
that
I
that
think
song's
when you
fire,
got
dog.
what's that, bro?
That song's fire.
Yeah, yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. I still like it now. I still
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it now. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's when you know it's good because
Yeah.
you still like it. But
Mhm.
yeah, it just crossed over a few little subgenres, and then especially when it starts to get played by people that you kind of like aspire to be like, or they look up to you, you look up to them, and it's like okay, maybe I'm onto something here. Maybe I'm on the right track, and it gives you that bit of motivation. So
Yeah, yeah. For that, how did you get those tunes out? Do you, like, send them out to, like, promo lists, or did you like, how was the process of actually, like, sending music? And, how did it feel to get, those first couple tracks signed by these labels?
yeah, man, it was just I guess it was just sending them out to the labels. I would like, email them on their promo lists or send it on Instagram. And at the time I didn't really have that many tunes, but I just had a couple of songs that were ready and I knew they were good. 'Cause I'd send them out to my friends and people, that understand the music, and I'd get some feedback of them, and then if they like them, obviously it's not, every song's not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, so, you kind of have to like trust that it sounds right to you, and then send it out to the labels that you think is similar to that type of vibe, and then hope for the best, mate. Hope for the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, I feel you, I feel you. You said that, going back to, finding your own sound, how you like the garage stuff, how you like the tech housey stuff. How did you kinda stumble upon the more, garagey type of sound? And why did you choose that one over, all the other genres?
Uh, I can't really put a feel on it like that. It was more of like I said, it was like it kind of just it kind of just went that way, It was like it kind of if you've got a tune that you're making and it can cross over in a lot of different types of sets, but it's still got that raw sound that you like, then I feel like, you just gotta go with, how that feels. And I think as well, you can't be too naive about the music scene in terms of like you've got to see what's popular, but you've got to stay true to what you like. You can't follow the trends. You don't want to be a sheep because, as you've seen it, how many different types of popular sounds come and go
Yeah.
over the
Yeah.
years, but like, you've
Mhm.
seen it happen a million times, like, from since we've started to now, there's been about 10 different subgenres of really popular music, and
Yeah.
everything comes back around,
Exactly.
so you kinda just gotta go with what you like. That's
Yeah.
that's that's pretty much it, so, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. There's like I say, I've been in the game for, going on 12 years now, and I'm at the point where like I'm seeing stuff again, So I only can imagine like the guys that's been in the game for like 20 years now, they probably seen the same thing happen over and over and over and over again,
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, bro.
And
It's
that's the good thing about like being true to yourself and true to your sound and sticking to a sound, because eventually it's going to come back out again, and then you're going to be, I guess, you know, popular again in
yeah.
the eyes of the community.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true, bro. It's so true, man. I think that's one of the most important things, you just gotta believe in, your music taste, and it's the same as being a DJ, you've obviously, you've gotta make people enjoy their time in the club. They've gotta be able to like dance and have a good time. But you don't want to be playing tunes just for the sake of it, just to get a reaction, you've gotta also trust your musical ear and, give them a bit of an education, of what's good, what's bad, some stuff that they've probably never heard of, and I
Yeah,
think that's the art of being a good DJ as well.
for sure. Can you explain that a little further about being there's a DJ and then there's like a selector. Can you explain like kind of the differences, and where do you see, I guess, yourself and how the
Yeah.
pattern of being either?
Yeah, yeah, I think it'll be the same with you as well. Like all these years, like we've been collecting all these different types of like pockets of music genres and stuff like this, you know. And I feel like, you know, you kind of have to in your own style, bring them into your sets and like curate them into a way where it's like, you know, you have to kind of educate them, but also give them a good time where they kind of, you know, I think it's hard to describe. I think, you know, it's kind of you have to just feel it. It's a feeling. It's a feeling, isn't it? Like you just have to feel the music, feel what's right at the right time, you know. And I think, you know, you can make a playlist on Spotify and just press play and hope everyone enjoys it. You know, that's just being a feel good DJ, or you could be a selector where you take the risk, you drop tunes that probably nobody have heard, might be a little bit out there, but you're trusting that, you know, your musical taste is gonna, you know, get the reaction back. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
I can't really describe it, you know.
Now, well, you're right. It's a lot of these answers can be, or sorry, a lot of these questions can be answered by it's a feeling. You know what I mean? It's
It's a
like, and
yeah,
that's how like how house music was like. It's a feeling. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's
Mm,
so true, bro. It's so true.
for sure. So are you right now? Are you doing all like your booking for yourself, or are you on a agency like that?
Yeah, I'm completely independent at the moment, bro. Just
That's good, bro.
completely running everything by myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I felt like, you know, I've always thought about it, and I thought, you know, when the right time when it comes, I'll jump onto an agency, but at this moment in time, I don't really feel like it's like my number one priority, you know. So yeah, I'd rather be able to manage everything myself, so I know I'm 100% in control of everything that's coming and going.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure, man. Yeah, so I know like a lot of people, you know, when they get in the game, they want to get on an agency right away because they think it's going to be, you know, the
yeah,
gigs are going to automatically come, or the
yeah.
agent's going to automatically get them the gigs. Can you explain a little bit about how the importance of like you said, managing everything thing yourself, and then eventually, you know, getting on an
Yeah.
agency?
Yeah. I don't really know the reason why. It's more of a fact that like I don't need to kind of have that extra work on top of working with a lot of other people, whether it's like a agency or a manager or stuff like this. Because like I said, I've still got mentors around me. I've still got my friends. I've made a lot of networking connections through myself already through just being in the scene for so long. So at this moment in time, you know, when the right time comes, I'll maybe jump on an agency if it's the right move for me. But I feel like a lot of you know upcoming kids now, like you said, they want to jump on all these things because they think it's guaranteed these amazing shows and stuff like that. And because the scene's so saturated, bro, you know how it is. It's like, you know, it's not always guaranteed. So I would say to a lot of people, maybe just kind of grow their brands themselves, grow their community, their network.
Yeah.
And when the time comes, the time will come and, you know, it'll benefit you. So,
For sure, bro. Hell yeah, hell yeah. So obviously you've been moving and grooving this year with 2025, having some dope releases. Can you tell everybody kind of what you got coming down the pike for 2025?
yeah, bro. So, yeah, I've had a couple of releases already. That one on Plastic People,
Yeah.
one on Low Steppa's new label, Low Tracks. That's
Word.
got loads of sick tracks coming on that one. And then
Mm-hmm.
I've got another Moxy EP coming this year. So that'll be dope.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be in the summer, maybe. I'm trying to
Yeah.
finalize the dates on that one. And then I've got another big EP on Hardline Records. That's
Oh,
like
okay.
I think you might have heard of it it's on a garage-based label in Bristol in England. So
Yeah.
yeah, that seems to be dead popular. So I'm excited for that. And
Mm-hmm.
then just loads of little tracks here and there. So yeah, I'm looking to kind of start my own label soon as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, man.
Can you talk a little bit about that, names and dates and all that stuff, or no, not yet?
Nah, no, yeah, there's 2
Ah.
well, yeah, it's in the works, man, because I
Okay.
feel I don't know if you have the same problem, but, you know, if you sign into all these labels, sometimes, you know, their schedule's already backed up for 12
Years.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah, years,
Hmm.
bro. So I'm like, I need this music to come out quicker. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking about, starting my own thing. So
Yeah, man. That's the process I'm into. I just released my first EP on my label, All Things House Music,
yeah,
and
yeah.
vinyl only is selling out real good right now. I have about 10 left. So
Oh, sweet.
that is a big accomplishment, and it's just good to like get the music out, you know. So you said we're sitting on all this music, and we're either sending it to people and it's getting signed and it's getting pushed back for. I mean, some labels I've signed music with, I don't even have like a release date. It's just a sign, you know. It's like so I don't know
Yeah, yeah.
if it's coming out forever, you know. So and then other labels they give it to you, but sometimes they don't really, they release so much music that it's like released one week and then the next one is like it's kind of
Yeah, it kind
not
of
there
gets
anymore.
yeah, it gets left in the dust, bro,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
they're just turning over so many tunes, man, and
yeah,
it's like it's kind of it's just throwaway music. But like you said, on your vinyl, it's a physical, tangible copy.
yep,
It's that it's there forever.
mm-hmm,
It's a piece of art. It's a piece of art that you created, man. It's your brand, and it's I think for a lot of artists like me and you, to keep it all controlled under your own roof
yeah,
is important. So
for sure, man, for sure. Yeah, once we like open up the label for everyone, we'll definitely have you on for sure,
yeah, sweet man. I'll,
because
I'll cook up some beats for you,
for
bro.
sure, bro, for sure, because it's going to be for a while. It's going to be only only vinyl,
Yes,
only vinyl,
calm.
strictly vinyl for now.
Yeah.
Because I see that there is a like a big resurgence in the vinyl community. And sure, is the same over there too?
Yeah, it's massive, bro. It's like it's more popular than releasing on digital now, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like a bit of bragging rights,
It is,
to
right?
have it on vinyl,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. Why do you think it's because obviously when obviously it's this whole thing kind of started on vinyl, and then the CDJs and the MP3s and all that stuff came out. Why do you think it has been a resurgence of vinyl?
Um, I don't know. I don't know, but I feel like there's a lot of in the music scene, there's a lot of snobbery, I think,
Yeah.
in terms the way that people talk about, oh, that's too commercial, or, like the cooler the better, and the more exclusive, you're in the cool kids club. And I think it's just a bit of one of those things where it's like you're part of that little hub or community or gang or whatever it is,
Yeah.
I feel it's kind of it's a bit like that, really. So I'm not sure. I don't know how you see it.
I see it on two folds. I see it gives light to like kind of the older DJs that kind of kept on to their vinyl, and the ones that have been in the game for a while that nobody knew they had vinyl back in the day.
Yeah.
But as far as some of the new guys, I'm not saying all. So please, fans, don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't come
It's
at you.
don't
Hating in
don't
the
don't
comments.
don't come in the comments, bro. Um, I feel as though it's kind of like a fad, kind of like it's
Yeah.
um like learning to do this is not necessarily because you want to learn how to do it. It's just kind of like it's like the cool thing to do right now, which
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
which is cool because it highlights the whole process.
Yeah, yeah, it does, man. It's like the craft. It highlights the craft
The
of
craft,
like
yeah,
going back to the original DJ. It's like you're not a real DJ unless you can spin vinyl and stuff like that.
yeah,
That's kind of some of the narratives that I see sometimes online.
yeah.
Uh, but I don't think I really don't think it matters. I really don't. I really
Mm-hmm.
don't. So
Mhm. Yeah, with me, man, like, that's the same thing I see, like, people say, "Yo, you're not a real DJ if you can't, spin on some vinyl." I didn't start spinning on vinyl. I just started playing vinyl probably maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and
yeah, but
it's not a fan for me, it's more like I truly, like, enjoy it. Plus
enjoy it.
plus it makes my digital gig so much more easier than, I mean, it was kind of easy from the beginning, but it's so much easier now, because
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
using the elements from vinyl to bring to the digital world.
Yeah, for sure, bro, for sure, man. And I think as well because we haven't had to learn. Like
Yeah.
we could go straight onto digital,
Yep.
and it's a lot easier. Whereas like back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, they had to learn. Otherwise, you couldn't be a DJ.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we've had the luxury of not having to spend all that money on vinyl and learn on it just to be a DJ. So
Yeah, yeah. And they, like you said, like we were not forced to do that. And today I think the barrier of entry is so lower, so
yeah,
much more low than back in the day. Right now you can literally DJ off an iPad, compared to, going and buying, decks and all that.
yeah, everything is just so easily accessible now, and it's the same
Yeah.
with producing music. All these
Hmm.
courses, all these different types of software, man. Like anybody literally can pick it up and get
Yep.
stuck into it. So it's a blessing,
Yep.
and it's also a curse because it's harder to separate the real ones to the people that are just doing it for the wrong reasons. So
Yep. Yep. And that's just kind of the good part about the game. It's like, yeah, it's lower entry level to get in, but the more people that's in, it gets to expand and like new sounds come. So like
yeah,
the genre is always like moving forward. It's not stuck in the past, because if we stuck in the past, um we was always have like this one type of sound.
yeah, yeah. We'd always be doing the same types of music, the same things. The same people would be doing the same things and running the show. And it's
Exactly.
and it's it's supposed to evolve.
Hmm.
You see all these like new artists coming up with like original vibes, original sounds, and breaking through. And it's like it's good to see, man, because we need that evolution, right? So
For sure. For sure. All right, bro, man. This has been a dope podcast, man. Thank you for coming on. I got one last quick question for you. We always like to end this with this. So, from your time now, from the time you began either in production or in DJing, what would you have told yourself to better prepare yourself for now?
oh, that's a tough one, man. I'd say be more confident in who you are. Like, be true to yourself. Trust the process. Don't be so hard on yourself. And just stick to your thing really, and just like kind of focus on you and not anything around you, and just kind of do it for the love and like the feeling that it gives you. Like don't do it for like an ulterior motive or like for a reason or trying to get somewhere and be displaced. Like do it solely because you just enjoying the music that you're doing. So
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah,
yeah,
man. Well, man, once again, man, thank you for coming on to the podcast. And that's been
thank you
another
for having me.
episode of the All Things House Music Podcast. Peace.
Sounds like having me, bro.
Of,
Peace.
of course, man.